Hey friends, and welcome back to Slay a Tray Thursday. Today's mission is to create a Lupus Awareness tray with some butterflies, some sparkle, and hopefully minimal chaos. But no promises because let's face it, resin humbles me regularly. But this one matters a lot. So let's create something beautiful and something that honors the strength and resilience of all the people who are impacted by lupus. Now, let's go slay a tray. So I already mixed up resin because I am so all over it. And I divided it into 3 cups. I mixed up 16 ounces, which is a lot. This tray holds about 20. So I mixed up 16 and then I divided it into 8, 4, and 4. And we're going to do some white, mostly white. So we'll do 8 ounces of white. And then we're going to do 4 ounces of a deep dark purple and then 4 ounces of a less dark purple, also known as a lighter purple for normal people who speak properly. Oh my gosh, you guys, I thought that once I finished school that my life was going to be so sedate and so quiet and I was going to have all this free time. Yeah, that has not been the case. I have been busier now that school is finished than I have ever been. So I feel like my brain, even though school is over, is far more taxed than it should be. So I just poured the dark purple around the outside edges. I kind of just mixed it together with the lighter purple. In the end, it's not going to make a difference. And then I came back in with some white in the middle, and then I'm just adding a little bit more of that dark. Because of the white, it's all going to merge together. And honestly, there was really no reason to make 2 different shades of purple. Maybe if I had let it set for longer so that it was a little bit thicker, maybe it wouldn't gel quite as much. But because it's really thin at this point, everything is just going to kind of mix together, which is fine. And that's going to do it for step 1. So I'll see you back here in 24 hours and we'll move on to the second step. And as you can see, the purple definitely took over. There are like some white striations that are really hard to see. And then, of course, that giant blob of white in the center. But that's okay. We're going to throw some other stuff on here. It's going to be fine. So this is some crushed glass from Renfio. That's some purple, some silver. There's also some black. And then those are just little cups of like little small pearls. I thought we could throw them in there to just kind of give it a little bit of extra, dimension. A little bit of oomph, I guess. It's about 6 hours later at this point, and I thought, oh, you know what? Let's add some crushed glass around the edges. By 6 hours, most resins are at that point where things aren't going to start to sink in. It's still going to be soft, it's going to be pliable, but it's not going to just sink. This resin is not the best. It takes a good 24 hours to really firmly set, and if you try to do anything before that 24 hours, it's kind of a mess. So I've decided I'm just going to let this sit and then I'll come back in a few hours and we'll try again. And hopefully it'll be a little bit more firm by then. So remember how I mentioned that my brain's just not functioning since school finished? Well, it's still not functioning because I forgot to hit the record button. So many things happened between that video and this one. As you can see, there's crushed glass all around the edges. Some of it sunk in, some of it didn't. It's okay. Also, I put down some UV DTF. Now, let's be real. Lupus Awareness, it's the purple butterfly. I know this. But let's also be real that I ordered a purple butterfly UV DTF, right? And it showed up and it was gigantic. We're talking invasion of the butterflies cause nightmares for everyone, gigantic. So, I couldn't do it because I was getting like flashbacks. Do you remember those movies in like the 80s where there were giant rats and birds and things like that? Same kind of thing, right? Not good. So purple butterfly was next. But I did have these butterflies. They have purple in them, so they're purple butterfly adjacent. And speaking of nightmares, I broke out the Cricut. I put some words into the Cricut and then I fought with it for 7 hours to get them to print and to get them onto the transfer tape. Oh, right, to weed them, then put them on the transfer tape, and then get the transfer tape to actually come off of this image. May have been more like 27,000 hours. At least that's what it felt like. The Cricut and I are not friends. And I'm sure it's me because many people love their Cricuts. But I have to say I do not. Honestly, if I had to do this again, or if I was going to do this again, not if I had to, but if I was going to, I would have put a butterfly in the center over that big white splodge because it's very distracting and odd and just not what I wanted. So I really should have put a butterfly there rather than leaving it like I did. And then I would have put the words differently as well. I would have moved them, done something, because I feel like they kind of mesh with that big white splodge. But hindsight 2020, I mixed up another 6-ish ounces, I think, to go on top of this and finish it all off. And then I decided, oh, right, I was going to put pearls in this originally when I put down the cut glass, and I had forgotten to do that. So with this layer, I'm going to come back in and put the pearls in. Now, because I didn't put them in the previous layer, some of them are invariably going to stick up above the top layer, but I'm okay with that because they're all going to be around the edges. So I'm totally fine with that. And I would just like to celebrate a small victory right here and say I found tweezers. So yay for me on that. Now, you will notice I do not have gloves on. And the reason I don't have gloves on is because it was very difficult to manipulate the tweezers and to get the pearls out of the cup. But if you're going to touch anything that has resin on it, please wear gloves. Please don't take that chance like I did. It's terrible for your skin to get that stuff on there. Not to mention it's sticky and it feels gross. But yeah, so I did take off the gloves. So I think it's one of those do as I say, not as I do things. So the other piece with the pearls that I wanted to mention is that these don't have holes in them. So I had some pearls, and I'm so sorry if you can hear that noise outside. Someone is driving down the street very late at night, and they're very loud. Anyway, so I had some pearls that you would use for like beads, like for making bracelets or jewelry or something like that. But they had the holes in the center. I was worried that if I used those, that those would trap air, and then that would release bubbles into the resin. I thought about originally filling them with UV resin, so that way that it wouldn't be possible, but then you would still see the holes. So I wasn't thrilled with that idea. So instead, I just found some pearls that don't have holes in them. And then I just went around the edges and just put them wherever I thought they would look okay. I did get a little pearl happy towards the bottom and put a whole bunch in one spot. I'm not sure what I was thinking there. And then by the time I looked at it again, I went, oh, I don't really like that. It had already started to gel a little bit, and I was worried that it would create a big bubbly mess, so I just left them. So I am just going to finish putting these down. I'll hit it again with the heat gun just to hopefully if there's any bubbles that came up from around those little pearls, that those will float away to the ether, and then I'll come back to you in about 24 hours. We'll look at the final product, and then we'll be all finished. So I will see you in, like 1 second. And here we are. Everything is finished. The words do blend into that white spot in the middle, but maybe that white spot is like a portal to hope. Yes. Let's go with that. That white spot. It kind of looks like a portal, right? Portal to hope. That's what we're going for. But everything else, I like the pearls, except for the pearls that are kind of at the bottom. They're kind of clumped together, which I did that intentionally, but why I did that intentionally, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, they all stick up a little bit above the top layer of resin, but actually I kind of like it. It gives this like really nice textural element, and it kind of feels really good when you rub your fingers across it. So actually that kind of worked out in my favor. Words I very rarely say. Thank you guys for being here this week and being a part of Slay a Tray Thursday. Please check out the other creators down in the description box below. Everyone is just such a kind group of people, such a wonderful community. Please give them some love. And hopefully I'll see you again in 2 weeks where we're doing whatever we want. And I have already started. I know, I'm ahead of the curve. I'm so proud of myself. So please come back in 2 weeks and see you then.